All right, right back into it. Pick 21, the Washington Redskins, the surprise winners of the not too impressive NFC East. Got bounced in round one by the Packers, but they got their franchise quarterback, it looks like, in Kirk Cousins. They just said goodbye to their old franchise quarterback in RG3. But offensively, they probably like where they're at. It seems like they're actually going to be keeping Deshaun Jackson. They are going to figure out something with Kirk Cousins. They've moved on from Alfred Morris, but I think that's because they like Matt Jones. Their rookie, Jordan Reed, is an animal. Obviously, him and Kirk Cousins have wonderful chemistry and play so well together. They got Pierre Garçon. Their offensive line is pretty solid. Offensively, they're good. Defensively, a couple of things to address. They could use some help in the secondary, but the immediate need is on the defensive line. This was already a not that impressive defensive line. Today, they just cut Jason Hatcher. People thought that he might retire, and he didn't seem like he was going to. Well, the Redskins said, well, all right, you're gone. This could be a team that has to use multiple picks on strengthening their defensive line, and I think one of the best ways to strengthen that up is getting a Sean Robinson. Now, the defensive tackle position, to me, is the toughest one to figure out in the draft. It is so deep, and there's just not a lot of guys creating separation. You will see, a guy. You will see a Sean Robinson not be in people's first round. You will see a Sean Robinson go 12th to the Saints. It varies so much. And there's a lot of guys that you will either see them not in round one or you will see them in the top 15. It varies so much. But for me, I think a Sean Robinson makes a lot of sense. The Alabama prospect and just his sheer size, putting him right in the middle, stuff the run, and make it, tough for the offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys, make it a bit tougher on, Eli and the gang to get the run game going, and the Eagles, whoever their running back is going to be, whether they stick with Matthews or someone, doesn't matter, make that tougher for them. Let your secondary, who's, not as strong, you can now drop a couple people back in coverage with a guy like a Sean Robinson, because he's just going to make it so difficult to run up the middle, and for that reason, I think that a Sean Robinson makes a lot of sense at 21 for the Redskins. Pick 22, the Houston Texans. Again, a lot of mock drafts. You didn't think that they were going to have the opportunity to get their quarterback. But with the way free agency's worked out, and again, since I just don't think the 49ers draft a quarterback, Paxton Lynch is there. And I really hope that he would work out for the Texans, because they deserve it. Not only does Bill O'Brien deserve it, but boy, does DeAndre Hopkins deserve it. Last year, they featured Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, TJ Yates, and Brandon Weeden, and made the playoffs. And they had DeAndre Hopkins finish as probably the third best wide receiver in football numbers-wise. And, you think about the quarterbacks he's been playing with. People could probably make a really strong case that DeAndre Hopkins is the league's best receiver. And he can make life so easy for Paxton Lynch. And the rumors are that they're going to be signing Lamar Miller, or that they're going to try to make a big push towards him. That is so perfect. That is so perfect, because Lamar Miller, at the age of 24, is a guy that can take a heavy workload, but wants it. That's why he's leaving Miami. He wants to be given the ball a bunch of times. He would welcome 300 carries. He would welcome that. He would welcome 300 plus carries. He wants that. That's what he's been asking for so long. And he might get that with a rookie quarterback. They might try to not throw the ball as much. And I think for that reasoning, if they get Lamar Miller, Paxton Lynch, it makes perfect sense. And if Bill O'Brien can mold him and things like that, I think it makes a lot of sense. Now, there are talks about RG3 coming, and if RG3 comes, then they'll probably grab Hackenberg in the later rounds, and Bill O'Brien and Hackenberg can reunite. But if RG3 doesn't get signed there, and this team still needs to address the quarterback position, with Paxton Lynch on the board, I don't see any way that they pass up on him. Pick 23, Minnesota Vikings. A surprise to a lot of people last year that they made the playoffs and actually won the NFC North. But, that's a really good team. Defensively, they are so good. And led by Harrison Smith, but they just have strength all over that defense. Offensively, Teddy Bridgewater has he's worked for them. He's not putting up outstanding numbers, but he's putting up good enough numbers. He's playing well for them. Adrian Peterson, the league's best running back. The real problem for them, though, is at the receiver spot. Mike Wallace today officially cut. That opens up $11 million in cap space for them, where they can go out and address some other needs in free agency. Luckily for them, last year's fifth-round selection, Stephon Diggs, emerged and looks promising. but they need to get him another receiver. Now, some people think Corey Coleman is the second best receiver in the group, and I think that you can debate those things. But to me, I don't think that he makes sense for the Vikings because his build is just so similar to Stephon Diggs, and that they're just both smaller guys. And I think that, to me, for me, I prefer having guys that vary in size. I like, for example, the Lions, how they had a big guy like Calvin and a smaller guy like Golden Tate. I think that those type of tandems work. Brandon Marshall's a bit bigger and Eric Decker is a bit smaller. So I think things like that work, and that's why I think Josh Doxson is the pick for the Vikings, because Will Fuller is also small, Braxton Miller is also small, but Josh Doxson stands at 6'4", had a terrific career when he was playing at TCU. The one knock on him is that he needs to be able to get off press coverage more. Just get in the weight room, and I think that the Vikings will be able to address that, and they'll work on that with him. And, maybe year one he could struggle with strength, but, guys get stronger as they continue to grow in this league, and I think that Doxson makes a lot of sense for the Vikings at pick 23. Pick 24, another receiver goes. For me, Braxton Miller is the selection. Once he was a quarterback, now moved to receiver, and he did pretty well while at Ohio State. He caused a lot of havoc, and he can. To me, he fits perfectly for what the Bengals do, where they have those end arounds, the sweeps, direct snaps. He actually can take it up a bit more, because I know he's not a quarterback anymore, but he can still throw it here or there, right? If they needed to throw a couple more trick plays in. But the reason why Braxton Miller is so important is Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Lewis, both free agents. They can't let teams focus in on A.J. Green any more than they already do. You just don't want that. And you think about the Bengals. Can't get out of the first round. You'd like to think that they would have had Andy Dalton been healthy, but he wasn't. They had a really, really good season last year, and I wasn't surprised at all. I remember in the beginning of the year I got into a debate with someone who told me the Bengals were going to go 0-16. What a waste of time that was. I don't even know why I engage in those type of conversations. But the Bengals, that's a really good team, and I know that Vontaze Burfict's now, and Adam Jones could be gone, but Burfict's still good. There's a lot of good players on that defense, and you just can't let the offense become not one-dimensional, because you still have Eifert and you still have a really good run game, but you just don't want there to be only one receiving option for Dalton. Get him another guy like Braxton Miller. I think he could come in and make an immediate impact for this team. I think that he'd work perfectly for the Bengals. At pick 25, the Steelers are going to be going cornerback. I think they have to. One of the best passing offenses in this league, but on the other end of it, their passing defense is pretty tough. If we're going to be completely honest here, right? It's just not all too good, and they have promised though other areas of their defense. So with that being said, you can pretty easily see them addressing the secondary. The question is, which one do they address? I just want to quickly say, as you see me moving up here, I just realized I said Marvin Lewis is entering free agency. That's their coach. Marvin Jones going to free agency. Marvin Lewis, head coach. My bad. But yeah, I think the Steelers got to go corner here. And I think that William Jackson III is the pick. Now, a lot of people had Eli Apple slotted there for a while, but William Jackson had impressive tape. But, people were unsure. Killed it at the combine, and now people really like him, and I think that makes sense. And I think that I don't know how high people really were on Eli Apple. I don't think people were all too impressed, though. I think William Jackson makes a lot of sense, and I think the way the Steelers have operated for a long time is that they're okay with maybe taking a guy who's not as ready. Maybe Eli Apple's maybe a bit more ready, but William Jackson definitely has a lot more potential, and I think that could definitely work for the Steelers. I think William Jackson III is the pick they make. We're going 6 picks in this video here, because then we're going to finish it off with the final 5 in the next video. Obviously, again, no 32 selection. Pick 26, Seattle Seahawks need offensive line help. Russell Okung's entering free agency. They really shouldn't let him go, but they might have to. This is a team that just got money problems. They struggle to figure out who they need to pay, and Okung could actually go. Even if they sign Okung, they still need help on the offensive line. Marshawn Lynch is gone, and I know Thomas Rawls impressed, but You can't guarantee me Thomas Rawls is Marshawn Lynch, and Russell Wilson is just continuing to always be scrambling and running for his life. It feels like sometimes, and that's just not what you want. It's not what you want from your franchise face of the franchise guy. Realistically, I think that they can grab Jay Conklin, and this is, I feel, a dream come true for them. For Conklin to be available at pick 26, I'm sure that they would jump on that right away, and it makes a lot of sense for them. They need help on the offensive line. Conklin's one of the better offensive linemen in this draft, and I think it's almost a match made in heaven. So that is picks 21 to 26. Come back, we finish it off with 27 to 31. Don't forget to comment down below what you think about these selections, and get on the full mock draft. The description will feature the link to the full mock draft on my blog, so make sure you check that out.